You gotta just build things. It's so easy. Let's build something fairly useless. A terminal countdown timer. Now let's think about what it does. The user will run the application and it will start counting down from a specified amount of time. Let's take in some optional flags for hours, minutes, and seconds. So here's what we need to do. 1. Parse input. 2. Convert input to time. We probably want to use seconds to count down. We need to output how much time is left. Then we're going to sleep for 1 second. And decrement our time by 1 second. Sounds easy enough. Let's get started. Okay, I'll start with opening a new file with Vim. I'll call it timer.c. We know where you're going to output the time. That means we need to include our stdio header. We're going to need our main function with the argc and argv parameters. Okay, first, let's have a variable to hold the number of seconds. It will be an unsigned int, and we will initialize it to 0. Unsigned because we are only going to count down to 0. Let's have a default timer. If we only have one arg count, which will be the name of the program, we will set the time to 1 minute, or 60 seconds. First, let's test this by counting down our seconds. We will use a while loop and continue as long as seconds are greater than 0. In the code block, let's decrement seconds by 1, print out our current seconds, and sleep for 1 second. And the sleep function is found in the header uni.std.h. Okay, let's compile and test this. The if statement set the default to 1 minute, and we are counting down from 60. Awesome. Alright, back in our timer.c file, let's add an else code block. We also need a car variable, I'll just call it c. Okay, when the user runs the program, we will have them pass options. These are flags such as -h or -l. We will use -h for hours, -m for minutes, and -s for seconds. Kind of a tongue twister there. I should point out here that the standard convention is to use -h for help, but we're going to use it for hours. Okay, to get these flags, C has a function we can use called getopt. If we go to gnu.org and check out the information on getopt, we can see that it's used in a loop, and we will use something new, the switch statement. Okay, so in a while loop, grab the return value into the car variable C. This will be the flags such as H, M, or S. We pass our argc, argv. Getopt will use this to parse out the flags. Then we're going to have this weird string of H, M, S, Colon means the flag is optional, so the user can only input seconds, or just minutes, for instance. And we will check that this is not -1. Notice the extra parentheses here to do just that. This will loop through all the options passed to this app and will exit the loop when getopt returns -1. Now we get to use the switch statement. It's nothing crazy. Think of it like an if statement. We have the keyword switch, and we will put the C in there. Now we will have a series of cases. These will check the value of C. Well, let's check if the value of C is H. The syntax is a colon, then a code block. Note here that squiggly braces are actually not required. Let's print out that flag -h is. We can do that with opt_arg. This is a value that is set by getopt and it is defined in the header uni.std.h. Since we are including this header, we can use this variable. Then after we're done with all the code we want to do for the case of H, we use the keyword break. This says, hey, we are done here. Break out of the switch and continue to the next loop. There are times you want multiple cases for one code block. If we would accept a lowercase h and an uppercase h. We would have 2 cases, one for the lowercase and one for the uppercase. Then we just have our code block. This will be run for either lowercase or uppercase. Okay, let's do the same for -m and -s. Now let's recompile and test this out. Awesome. Looks to work just fine. Okay, we want to convert our time into seconds and back. And we also want to display our time as a clock with hours, minutes, and seconds. Instead of passing around 3 ints, we could use an array. Let's use something else new, the struct. Struct is short for structure. We can use the struct to group together variables into one object. The struct must have at least one variable, and the variables can be of any type. Okay, we're going to use the keyword struct, followed by the name of the struct, we'll call it time. Then we need to have curly braces. Inside those curly braces, we can group together some types. And don't forget that semicolon at the end. Okay, let's call our struct time. We will have 3 unsigned ints, hours, minutes, and seconds. Don't forget the semicolons. Since these are all the same type, we can actually put them on the same line. The compiler will see this and assign all those variables to the same type of unsigned int. Down in main, let's declare and initialize our time struct. Notice that we need the keyword struct. We could use a type def, but let's save that for another video dedicated to structs. Just know that whenever we use our time object, we have to use the keyword struct in front. Okay, let's initialize our time struct all to zeros. We could have initialized our struct like this. This is called an initialization list, and they must be in the order that they are declared within the struct. Now in our if statement, let's set the minute to 1. And in our switch statement, let's go ahead and capture the values and turn them into ints with a to I. Now we got a bunch of errors because seconds is gone. But let's use it. We are going to take our time struct and convert that into seconds. Let's go above main and make a few methods. Time to seconds, take in our time struct and return seconds. Seconds to time, take in our seconds and return our time struct, and display time. Let's copy paste these down below main. I'll go ahead and start with time to seconds and initialize an unsigned int I'll call seconds. Let's go ahead and return that. Okay, this convention should be easy. Seconds will be seconds for my time struct, minutes multiply by 60 and add to seconds, hours is 60 times 60 and add that. Now we have all the seconds, which will be used to count down and sleep in our while loop in main. Okay, now let's do the conversion of seconds to time. Let's declare and return our time struct and call it t. Okay, let's start with hours. The number of seconds in an hour is 3,600. So to get the hours, we're going to divide by that number, 3,600. Notice we are not using decimals, so the remainder of the division would be what's the minutes and seconds. Now to get the minutes, it's hours minus the number of seconds in the hours and divide that by 60. Once again, the remainder of the calculation would contain the seconds. And that is seconds minus the number of seconds in the hours and minus the number of seconds in the minutes. Great, we have all the seconds put into our time struct. Now let's look at printing out how much time is left. Oh no, looks like we need seconds passed to this function, not our time struct. Okay, let's initialize a time struct and store the value of seconds to time. And all we gotta do is print. We can use a 02 in front of our D in our format specifier. This is telling printf we want 2 digits, and if we only have 1, make the first one a 0. We'll have 3 of those separated by a colon. So it will look like a clock. Okay, let's recompile and test. That's not what I wanted printed out. Oh, okay. Whoops, we never called display time in our while loop. Better, but I missed a colon. Okay, but let's have it not print out so much. We can use, on Linux at least, system with a string clear. This will clear the terminal. If you're on Windows, God help you, but I think it's system and a string of CLS. Okay, let's try that and see if it will roll over on hours and minutes. So let's run with 1 hour, 1 minute, and 4 seconds. Nice, it works. Awesome, way to level up by doing. The code will be hosted on GitLab. Link will be in the description. Thanks for watching. Be sure to subscribe, like, and share, and comment to defeat that algo monster.